Yeah, like we really do just need to start and just do an entire Rant Cast episode
I want
just
Pierce to get
from.
his own episode.
Oh yeah,
I want the Pierce family special where it's
oh
literally
yeah,
just like I'll just go off.
yeah.
I'll go on for a whole hour. Like you don't have to talk for the whole episode.
For the whole, we need to do one Rant Cast episode, which is literally just the word fuck for an hour. And then we need to do an entire episode not even on Resident Evil, just solely on the character Pierce from Resident Evil
Yeah, I
7.
want after we do Resident Evil, I want the end of that episode to be like, and don't get me started on Pierce, and then it just cuts off, and then the next episode
Is Pierce.
it's just the whole thing. It's just an hour of me talking about how shit he is.
Oh, I'm doing that now. Spoiler alert for everyone listening to the episode, because I'm currently recording, so welcome to the Rant Cast, episode 3.
I'm really? I was gonna have gone by this.
Welcome to the Rant Cast, episode 3. I am Michael, aka DJS Soul. I'm joined with the one and only Condescending Bear.
You can call me the condescending bear.
No, that's what I do anyway. Even though I know your full name, I've known you for 9 years.
You
I
can
still,
know me
I
as
actually,
long as you want.
I just
I'm
call you
changing
the
my
Condescending
government
Bear.
name to the
Condescending Bear. It needs to be at. That's your
At
first
the
name.
condescending bear. No, because my Twitter's at Trust Me I'm a Bear. Please
Oh, yeah,
follow
of
me. I'm
course.
desperate at this point.
Oh,
So
yeah. But yeah, I call you that anyway. So today's subjects are going to be stealth within video games, particular video games where it doesn't actually belong.
yeah.
The lack of / mistreatment of the 4-player co-op system in some games.
Nothing fucking pisses me off like that.
The character we're going to be particularly talking about is Shawn from Fallout 3.
Fallout fucking 4, you dick.
No, it's Fallout 3. We pretend.
I wish it was Fallout 3. It'd be a better fucking game.
Yeah, but from Fallout 4. And then the game we're going to be talking about at the end is Crackdown 2.
Crackdown 2.
So, Corey, you're going to have to get your fucking memory bank on, because I don't remember Crackdown 2.
You lucky bastard.
But I'm pretty sure in episode 2 we did mention, when we recorded it a year and a half ago, that we were going to talk about Crackdown 2 next episode. So here we are, episode 3. It's happening. You're welcome.
I hope that we didn't say that at all. And
I'm pretty
everyone who's
sure we
watching this
did.
is like, what?
I'm pretty sure we did. Because I'm pretty sure you were going to start on a massive rant about Crackdown 2, and I said, no, we're going to wait.
Save it. Save the
We're going to
magic.
save it for next episode. I could put money on it. So, first subject, stealth.
Stealth in games where it doesn't fucking belong. Like, okay, so my prime example for this is like, do you know when you're playing literally any old first-person shooter, and it is usually first-person shooters. You do occasionally get the third person.
They just can't do it right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we put a vent here you can crawl through, and it's like, that's not fucking stealth. Like, the new Wolfenstein 20, whenever the fuck it came out of, right? Brilliant game. Wolfenstein: The New Order and The Old Blood, right? Fucking amazing games. The best games, like, from Bethesda to come out in quite a while that are just, you know, single-player, non-linear experiences. I could go on about how much I fucking love The New Order all day, but that's not what I'm fucking gonna do.
We need to make
completely lost my train of thought. I really wanted to talk about how good it is because I want to forget
What's
all
that?
about how fucking shit it is.
How good is
Wolfenstein:
what?
The New Order. Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Oh,
It's these two, New Order and The Old Blood, are like. I'm so glad that Doom came out as well, because like these prove that you can have just a really good classic formula that just works so well. You know, just running and gunning, the old picking up med kits instead of having a recharging health bar. Just really classic themes that work in modern day, right?
Yep.
We've not outgrown these, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Well, Doom like reinforced that fact as well.
Yeah, Doom was like the best fucking AAA game of 2016. It was amazing. It's in my top 20 probably, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. But the point is, right, where Wolfenstein annoyed me. I don't like tons of games have this. I think Red Faction 1 has a bit of this.
That's a blast from the past.
Possibly Red Faction 2. Just games where they tell you, oh, you know, go through this area, and you're like, okay, fine, it's linear, whatever. I don't think too much about it. So you go right on through, and then you kill all these people, you know, and then you'll like turn around and be like, oh, there was a cool air vent I could have utilized. And I don't know about you, but I like to reload saves and do things differently every now and then. Like particularly with when I played through Dishonored. We'll get to that fucking game at some point.
Oh yeah.
And Wolfenstein. Every time I saw an event, I was like, "Oh, I'll just reload my last checkpoint and then just use it and see how cool it is." But it never fucking works. Everyone constantly spots you. It doesn't really matter either way. It's not like in a lot of stealth games, you know, you get spotted, you're either dead, plenty of enemies come and just make it a fucking miserable time for you. There's consequences, right? There's no consequences in Wolfenstein if you don't use their cool little fake stealth.
Yeah.
That's just unnecessary. You know, you could put silencers on the weapons and you could put silencers, I think, on your pistols. It's fucking point. There's no point in using silencers. They don't do anything. Sure, if you want to go through that game stealthy, all you've done is make your job fucking far harder. It's just artificially lengthening games. It's fucking pointless. I'm trying to think of other games that do it. I think in Red Faction, there's the... I might be remembering this wrong, and I'm sure I'll probably get corrected on it. But there's a part where you're in a tuxedo for some reason, and you've got to get through either without being noticed or without being suspicious. It's like, why?
In what Red Faction?
I'm pretty sure it's in one where you're playing as...
I wouldn't have a clue.
I downloaded it recently, so I'll fucking play it. And if I find it, I'm going to record it. I'm going to fucking post it. Because we're going to overlay me talking about it to that footage. Because it was a thing that really fucking annoyed me. I Red Faction game, there's a part where I remember a tuxedo, and I remember it just being unnecessary. And I wasn't blowing shit up, which is the reason I bought the fucking game.
Yep.
It usually is just to artificially lengthen or to add an unnecessary like layer to a game, you know, so that you think it's a change of gameplay, but it's not. It never is. Final Fantasy 15 did it towards the end. In the part of Final Fantasy 15 everyone fucking hates, where suddenly it's all about avoiding enemies and using the stupid fucking ring. No wonder it was like, it's just a complete tonal shift from the rest of the game. I get you're supposed to feel isolated and alone, but no, fuck off. I want to fight enemies the same way I've been fighting them for the rest of the game. Let me swing a sword. Let me use my magic. Let me, you know, attack. I don't want to be on some weird stealth defense when any enemies can just see you from 40 miles away. It lengthens everything. It makes everything 40 times longer than it needs to be. And I don't fucking like it. Don't fucking do it. Like, there is ways that you can do it. Sleeping Dogs, I think, has a couple sections where you've got to be not stealthy, but, you know, you got to pass through relatively undetected.
Yeah, and that's not like a major stealth section. It's just more of a don't get spotted kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of games that do it well that aren't complete stealth games. But
yeah.
This is if you can't mix that gameplay style to work in tandem so that you don't even notice that you're switching styles, don't fucking do it. It's pointless. There's no reason.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Is there one? There has to be one.
Well,
where you can just go between each and not have to have like...
Without it being a main point of the game, like, say, Dishonored or something, or Deus Ex, like that, where you can flip back and forth between because the game is designed with both in mind, right?
Yeah.
They're the only times it really works. Deus Ex in particular, like, that's a perfect example because but that's also a problem. You customize your character to the style, right? As opposed to being able to just flippantly go back and forth. One is always superior to the other in terms of enjoyment. For everyone who says you could play Metal Gear Solid 5 just going Rambo with guns, if you did that, I can't imagine how many times you died or just had a miserable time because it really doesn't work like you'd hope it would. And quite frankly, it's fucking stupid. It is. It's just...
No, because that's the thing. Like, Metal Gear is meant to just have with the stealth in mind. And we're not just talking about games that have the New Game Plus feature, where if you go into New Game Plus, you could probably just Rambo everything because you've got all the cool upgrades and all the cool guns. It's like, first time playing it, the play style of that. If I can go from switching from stealth to just go all out guns blazing on the first playthrough, that's what we're talking about. Not just, obviously, in Splinter Cell or in Deus Ex or whatever, like, because I think Deus Ex got New Game Plus as well, which I'm sure you can just go through stealth the whole, like, probably just stealth the whole way through, and then after New Game Plus, then just bomb your way through. Like, what about the first gameplay, your first playthrough of it, can you go in between both gameplay of stealth and just all-out gun blazing?
I don't think, not without making a serious point, but the only game I can possibly think of where you can do both is probably the Batman games.
And so fluently as well.
Yeah, because the Batman games, they literally stop you and say, okay, you got to do this section in stealth, otherwise, I don't know, they'll kill a hostage or a bomb will go off or something like that. Someone's collar will alert stuff. You can't just go and punch people because they've got guns and stuff, so you've got to use stealth.
Yeah, and then obviously there's the crazy combat sequences as well that you can do in it.
Yeah, and then you get all the things if you're flipping around, punching dudes left, right, and centre.
Get that fucking that combo breaker going as well.
Exactly. So to know how to flip between stealth and combat flawlessly, your best bet is to either have an open world Ghost Recon style where basically it's how you choose to attack a situation. It does work well in Ghost Recon, or the Batman way of you force it so it has to be balanced, so that you can't just take the other route.
Yeah, but you do it enough that it doesn't turn into that Final Fantasy where you go through one playstyle 3/4 of the game way through, and in that last quarter you're limited to another playstyle. You have it constantly switching,
right?
Yeah, it's
like, can you imagine if Dark Souls 3, like suddenly there was a boss that the only way you could defeat was by like
being
sneaking around it and not being spotted? Like, it'd be fucking well confusing, especially like if it's a series like Final Fantasy 15. Okay, you could say, there's the bit in Final Fantasy 7 where you got to break into the Shinra building and you got to do it stealthy. No, fuck off, right? That was like a mini game compared to a whole segment of the game that you're forced to fucking suffer through.
Yeah.
It shouldn't feel like your game has halted to make me feel like an asshole for not using stealth, or for forcing me to use it in what is janky and not fun, and probably should have been tested about 8 more times.
Like for me right now, two other examples of linear and open world would be, and just because I'm kind of looking at them now, and they're not got major points, but they are just little additions, and that's Uncharted 4 and Horizon. And I've
not played Horizon, so that's all on you. But Uncharted, I completely agree with.
Because Uncharted 4 has obviously got that little sneaky element that you can do in some occasions or in some combat situations. But then obviously as soon as you kill one person, then it's usually all go.
Yeah, basically.
And sometimes there's the odd occasion where you can go through an entire combat situation just through stealth. But you have to either take your fucking time, and one combat sequence, which could probably take about 4 headshots, then turns into about half an hour worth of gameplay. But it's not forcing it. That's an option that you take.
Yeah, it's more of your decision in Uncharted. There's the achievement that I got for, I think it's like Ghost in the Graveyard, where you don't take out anyone, you don't get spotted, and you make it all the way from one segment to another. And I thought, that sounds like a lot of fun, because Uncharted's gameplay is conducive to that kind of style. You know, it was far more interesting to not fight anyone and find a way around than it was, to just go around battering dudes and stuff like that. Especially if you didn't do that and wanted to handle the stealth throwing people off edges, you can do that, and it's just as much fun. It might take a little longer, might be a bit quicker depending on how absolutely shit you are at gunfights.
Especially with the simple fact that Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 don't really play with a stealth element.
Well, I mean, Uncharted 1, I would say certainly doesn't. 3 more than, I think, Uncharted 2, maybe.
Because I'm trying to quickly fast forward through the entire game, and I personally can't remember. I could be wrong, but it doesn't play.
There's parts where you can just like choke out enemies and stuff, but not to the degree of, say, breaking into
a combat situation, and you have the choice of either stealthing the entirety of it or blazing it through.
Yeah, I agree on that.
So that's another example of a linear game, but an open world game is like Horizon, because obviously you can just attack either a camp, or you can attack any robots that you fucking find, and you can just go guns blazing all the way through. But there are different situations, and not massive situations, but there is the odd occasion where you can go through and just stealth an entire combat situation, like Uncharted, using either just staying out the sight of individuals, or completely walking past individuals, or silently taking down. It's kind of like, I always bring up the fact that it's like Splinter Cell Blacklist, where you have your 3 different types of playing. You go for your assault play. You can either go for, I think it's your Panther play, which is just silent but you're killing people, or it's more Ghost, where you
touch anyone, right?
Yeah, where you either don't touch anyone or you only use what I'm going to call is CC, like crowd control from my MOBA mind. CC or crowd control, like stunning, flashbanging people, disarming them, knocking them down, all that type of stuff. Not actually killing them. So, and to me, honestly, Blacklist is, going off subject a little, Blacklist's gameplay is brilliant. The story's a bit wank, to be fair.
Completely wank.
That gameplay element is something that I fucking love. The simple fact you have one combat situation and you have 3 ways to do it. Now, usually, obviously, you have different, like, ways you can go around, but it ends up being the same way. But with Blacklist, it makes a point. Like, these are your 3 different ways of doing it. Here's a load of fucking loadout equipment that you can just go ham with, depending on your situation. Here's some armor that doesn't necessarily do much. It is more cosmetics, but you can just tell the difference. Like, going the more stealth or the more armor. Going that more armor could honestly be the end, especially if you're playing on a harder difficulty. It could be the difference between surviving a bullet or not. And that's something I like. So, back to Horizon, it's definitely more of Uncharted, but more of just an open world, really, where you have these combat situations where you can just solely depend on stealth, or you can go balls out. There's not that many more examples. They're the only 2, and that's because I'm just looking at them right now. So, there's only a handful of exceptions.
Like, there definitely are exceptions. I know that a lot of people would say that the Far Cry games sort of have a really good idea of stealth versus combat. But, like, when I remember playing Far Cry, I think a good majority of my memory is stealth and not enjoying running at people with the bigger guns. I found it to be fucking annoying. Like, it didn't feel like the game was designed with that in mind. It felt like everything was designed more towards the stealth side to be a lot more rewarding. You got more XP if you're stealthy. You know, better rewards. It was easier to take down bases because they wouldn't call in tons of reinforcements that would just get old after a while. But, like, in a rare thing of the stealth was probably better than, you know, large open combat areas. I think that's the one thing I did like about Primal, was that you could play that game, you know, just purely stealth, and that was far more rewarding than ever getting into a fight with someone, because it was fucking shit when it came to swinging weapons.
Yeah.
So it's a thing of, I guess, you got to, good level design is definitely key to it. Don't just fucking plaster vents everywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't, like, have a good mixture of the 2. Look at the Batman games for a good mixture of the 2.
Yeah, and that's the point as well. With the level design aspect, I've just thought this now. Some of the problems, at least from my point of view and my opinion, is that when it comes to some of the level designs and they expect you to tackle this one scenario various times or in various situations, the vast majority of the time it's always a path with essentially vents. You have one main hallway with a handful of vents just to go to different places. But, like, instead of just doing a line from A to B, make an area. Like, make a scene. Like with Splinter Cell, you're never in one straight path. You're always creating an area. Like, I'm trying to think of a way or a level that is just a line, and I'm struggling. Where it's just A to B, simple, straightforward line, done. I'm struggling. Because especially in Blacklist and Conviction as well, there's so many levels where it's just essentially, in a way, kind of over exaggeration, but it's almost a mini world. There are so many ways to tackle this. You can go above, you can go below, you can go around, outside, or straight in. And it's never just one way in. It's not like, right, you hit this stealth point at this time, then when this enemy passes, you go to stealth point B, stealth point C, like bushes or cover. It's like, right, I have vents to the left, to the right. I have windows behind me to go around. I have a pipe to go up to the roof, or I have an underground system. And that's another thing that Batman does as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the underground venting system, where you can go under, go to another side of the room, pick up another guy there, go back down to the vents, and go across. But the area of that is huge. It's not just one vent system going straight without a corner. It's huge. Like, there's always
That's the thing
various.
I
There's
think
always various
Dishonored
pathways.
did actually really well, right? Dishonored had almost like circular arenas with just
Oh yeah,
tons of stuff
yeah.
from A to B.
That's
For all the
essentially
things I don't like about Dishonored,
yeah.
that is some of the better level design of any game. Like they give you so much different options.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, if you want to just break in and start chopping dudes and shooting dudes and using your powers, that's fine. But if you wanted to blink to a higher window,
Yeah, I was just about to
take
say.
out someone
Yeah, yeah.
immediately.
If you want
Or
to
hell,
go,
there's even like ways in the game, like you could poison someone's drink, or you could poison both drinks.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like I remember stuff like that. So all it takes is a little bit of creativity and to not have it be generic. Like I don't want to immediately see your map and then go, oh, I can do this, this, and this. I think, oh, if I climb up there, I'll have a better vantage point, and then I'll see something else.
The best
Don't
thing about
make
it is be
A
curious.
or B. Give it A through fucking Z, and then start working on numbers. Give it plenty of variety.
100%. The best thing about being stealth is curiosity. Because you can be like, right, I wonder if I go over here if I get a better vantage point. I wonder if I can go over here and get behind this really heavy armored dude. Because if I get rid of the heavy armored dude, that's going to give me a little bit more, that's going to take a little bit of pressure off me. If I do get caught, he's not going to be on my ass. If I get rid of that guy with a detector, like metal vision, or fucking metal detector, or bat vision, or whatever the fuck he has, if I take rid of that guy, right, so I need to get to a higher vantage point to see his pathing. If I know where his pathing is, I can find a good stealth place to take him out. And you just got to plan your route. I don't want to open up my map, see the next room, and know exactly what is there. If anything, I want to go into the room, I want to go to a higher vantage point, and then I want to look around, and as I'm looking around, my map is getting updated of where I can go. So I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I'll go to this vantage point. Right, I see windows over there, to the right, I got pipes going above, I got a venting system below. Fine. I can go through all that situation, be fine, and then play the game again. I'm like, oh wait, shit, I didn't even see this point just behind me. If I go back a little bit, go a bit higher, I didn't even realise I got this place over to the left of me that I can go instead. So, with the stealth games, it's all about being just curious and just seeing what you can kind of do. Because, for me, being stealth is so much more satisfying than just going all out. Because I'm thinking. Because going all out is not necessarily easy, but it's simple. And it's just a quick fire way. I go 1, 2, 3, headshot, 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 done, sorted. But with stealth, and they're like, right, I've got to pause this game a minute, have a look around. I need to dodge enemies whilst also being curious. And I'm going to keep saying curious because that to me is what the main focal point is to being stealth. I need to be curious about my surroundings. I need to explore every little nook and cranny. Because in turn, if you're going to have collectibles in your game, hide the fuckers.
Yeah.
Hide
absolutely.
fuckers. Being curious kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You get to reward players by finding shit and collectibles in your game, or ammo, or health, or gadgets. And you get better vantage points. It works so well. And the point of that, like you said, is arenas. Every little stealth bit that you want a combat situation needs to be an arena. It needs to be you versus about a handful of people, and you have all these devices to play with. And that's what makes it fucking amazing.
I agree.
100% amazing. And like I said before, Uncharted 4, Horizon, and I can't remember the other couple of examples we've already said before, but they can do it where it's just so nice. I guess Dishonored as well. They can go between going full-on balls-to-the-wall combat situation, or thinking about it, holding back a little bit and thinking about a situation. How do you want to tackle this? And those 3, plus a handful more, not too much, do it perfect. But there's just a point of this conversation is there are so many games that don't do it right. There are so many games that go from A to B, one straight line with a couple of off points that essentially lead you back to the straight line. And there's too many games that do that because it's so simple and so done. Especially the simple fact that it's just been done so fucking much that it just makes it boring. Like Corey said, it's like you can just go from A to B, load up a situation, immediately know exactly where all the points are and where they're going to take you, and like, right, I know exactly what I need to do in 5 seconds. Or I can just go 1, 2, 3, headshot, 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 boom, move on forward. There's no fluid balance. And that's another key word, like you said earlier, is balance. You need a balance between the two. So that, I think, 24 minutes in, concurs stealth games.
Yeah, I think 24 minutes on stealth games. I'm so glad because this is making it so the closer we get to that hour, the less time I have to remember Crackdown 2.
This is very true. So the next topic, which is essentially,
Say Crackdown 2.
is Crackdown. Is a topic that's kind of close to our hearts. Is co-op games.
Certainly, co-op games are my favorite. I'm far more competitive than anyone else in the world when I'm playing co-op games.
And the simple fact that we have a lack of co-op games, or 4-player co-op games specifically, and also the mistreatment of 4-player co-op games.
Yeah, the mistreatment mainly for me. I can play. Basically, if a game's got co-op, it's straight up. I want it.
Yeah.
You know.
Or if the game has the possibility of going co-op, use it.
Yeah. I'm like a squirrel on crack for co-op games. I can't. I fucking love them.
It's such a good experience as well because you're just communicating all the time. You're not on your one. And that's why we're talking about the lack of. There's not that many co-op games. And I don't mean because we've got racing games out there. We've got Tom Clancy's the latest 2 Tom Clancy games, essentially. The Division and is it Wildlands?
Wildlands?
Yeah, Wildlands. I forgot the name. GTA 5 is another one. And they're very much open world. The problem is that there's, and that's great and all, that's fine. But there's not many linear co-op games.
It's fucking barely any anymore. I don't know.
Bearing in mind when me and you were back in secondary school, way back when, there were quite a lot. I mean, we had Splinter Cell games, we had Rainbow Six Vegas games, we had Graw, all Tom Clancy games, I know, bear with me. We had Gears of War games, we had Army of Two.
Personal favorite, like even going back, like PS2 games. Do you remember like finding out that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas had fucking a co-op that you could play? It was shit. But as soon as you found that out, that was all you ever fucking played, right?
Time Splitters, Red Faction.
Yeah, Time Splitters especially. Like I've dunked so many hours into Time Splitters co-op.
Me and you too, brother.
Like there's just inherent things that I love as soon as it like shows up in my face. It's a co-op mode.
Got some Dark Souls online as well. Payday.
The Portal 2. Me and you, our series we're doing on Portal 2 at the moment is a perfect example of like perfect games. But it's a weird thing of lacking in AAA games.
And bearing in mind, we're saying all these games as well, but these are games that have been years. Like we're talking about recent, like in the past like year or two. Hardly any. We have I can think of 3. And 2 of them are Tom Clancy games.
Yeah, Ghost Recon and
Wildlands, and then you got GTA 5. Yeah, I'm missing some, I know, but right now AAA games, they're the only 2 I can think of.
You see, it's a weird thing of I'm the kind of person I don't really play online unless I have a friend.
Yeah.
Like I find it fucking boring to tears. I know that's. I'm not saying that if you do that you're boring or anything like that.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
If you like that, fucking more power to you. I wish I could do that. I find myself getting frustrated. I've got no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And I slowly feel like a husk.
You want to talk about someone. Yeah, you just want to.
No one's there.
Yeah, you want to talk with someone, communicate, have fun, and then just do shenanigans with them.
Yeah, you just want to banter, really. You just want to fanny about and have fun. And I find that harder to do on my own than when I have a friend. And like how much Gears of War have we played cooperative?
Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
Far more than is probably necessary, really. But it's just co-op games are inherent to the way I've been friends with people. I remember being like 8 years old with my friend Daniel playing GoldenEye, just running around karate chopping people. You know what I mean? There's a game. It's Curry Mix, but I think it's known as Cookies and Cream in the Americas. People, I think, more colloquially will know it as Cookies and Cream. Yeah, you like that word colloquially, Michael. I know you would get moist at the sound of that.
I'm a bit wet.
Where basically you're 2 rabbits in the middle of like a like one of you's on one side of the screen, one's on the other, and there's like a thing in the middle, and you've got to help each other out to get through the level. You might have to step on something so that one can get by. It's sort of kind of like Portal, really, but in a top down, you're split off from going near each other kind of way. And it was super creative. It was super fun. Like, co-op games, I find to be some of the most rewarding. There's nothing more satisfying in the world, I think, than playing Insurgency with a friend, and when you fucking like just nail a level and you get all the way to the end and you pass it and you just think like, fucking bro team up in this. But like, that's the thing. Why is it that co-op games just don't appear really in the AAA market? Like, I don't know if they don't sell well. I can't imagine they don't. But they seem to only be in indie games. I love myself some indie games. You know, Dead by Daylight and stuff is all like hilarious for some of that's co-op fun. You play a stranger who's the killer with a bunch of friends. It's hilarious. You find out who your friends are when you can dick each other over in co-op, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And like Payday, I love playing Payday. One of the best co-op experiences. You've got to communicate with your team. If you don't start talking to each other, you're gonna fuck that shadow raid up, and you will never leave with all of that stuff you just stole.
That samurai on, man. It's
exactly.
I think out of the amount of years we've put into Payday 2, we've only got that shadow armor once.
I've got it like twice.
I know I've got it on my own before, but I think together, me and you alone have only got it once, and that's because they're like, dude, we need to get the shadow armor. Like, no, we've got this far. Let's not bother with it. Can't be arsed. And they're like, but we need to.
That's like 90 minutes into the level. I was just stealing everything else.
Yeah. After we finally got it, after about an hour and a half, and they're like, dude, we need to get the shadow armor. Like, no, we've got like 4 million. Let's not fuck it up.
It's just co-op games are my bread and butter personally. Yeah. I would happily have another Army of Two. I know that everyone's like, oh, Army of Two is shit. It's just some bro fisting, air guitaring, and shooting people, and it's violent. Fuck you. It was sick. All of that stuff is great fun with a friend. You just didn't have a friend to play it with.
Let's just have like a prequel and not have an Army of Two Devil Cartel 2.
Yeah, we don't talk of Devil's Cartel. That's going to come up at some point.
I'm going to write that fucker down.
Like, just... The more co-op, the better, in my opinion. Like, Gears of War especially. I remember when Gears of War 4... When we finally got me, you, my good friend Kellum, and my good friend John all in a game, and we went through the entirety of it on Insane, and we fucking beasted that shit.
I don't even want to think about how many hours we've put into Gears of War.
But this is inherently the problem, right? Because now co-op games, indie games, you know, you get... Not to say that they're bad, but I do just have this big missing
little 1v1 versus stuff.
With friends that's, you know, a £40 game I've just bought that me and all of my friends are just going to go on and just complete a campaign. Like, I'm sick of versing other fucking people with my friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes...
It's always 1 versus 1.
Yeah. And it's not what I'm after.
Obviously, there are the odd exceptions. I don't want people calling me out. I understand there are the exceptions, but the vast majority of the time, it is always one person versus another, and you always have to do some sort of tournament fucking winner stays on shit.
It's a fucking irritating thing. Also, whilst on the subject of co-op, let's talk about local and online play.
Yes.
So, the lack of local cooperative play... Every reason for it just seems fucking false to me, right? Oh, we can't give you a co-op mode that's split screen because, you know, we can't get enough frames per second. Well, then lower the frames or lower the quality. No one. I think people will understand if a game looks like it's on slightly lower settings, but to have a friend there, right? Or if a game's on 30 frames a second just so, you know, it can run with another person. I don't care. If you're the kind of person who gets really fussed about frames a second, yeah, if you're like, no, right, don't come around my house to play a game today because it won't be at 60 frames, you're a piece of shit. No one fucking likes you. And quite frankly, your friends are better off without you because you're a fucking dick. Frames per second mean fucking nothing. When it, you know, I will play a fucking Microsoft PowerPoint if it means I can play with a fucking friend. Does not matter. Right? I played GoldenEye on fucking 4-player, and that was fine. Like, just make a game look slightly worse. I'll suffer for slightly shitter graphics or a worse frame rate. Yeah, just make it fucking run. As long as this game works, I don't care. If Super Mario like World and stuff like that, Super Mario 3D World, all these bullshit games that have 4-player co-op, everyone on screen, all. If a game looks like that, and I can play it with a friend around my house, then what's the fucking problem? Like, it can't be too hard to do. All it does is sort of increase your user base, right?
Essentially.
However, there is also the flip side of this argument. When 4-player games that aren't online could fuck right off. What's the fucking point? Do you have any idea how hard it is for me to get one person online at any given time? Like I'm an adult. Like, people are fucking busy. Sometimes you come home from work and you just want to go to fucking bed, or you just want to eat something, have a shower, and then go to bed. You don't give a shit. So when I do get a friend online, it's even harder for me to be like, oh yeah, come around my house and then let's all play a game. Oh, it's 4-player. So, I want to play Super Mario 3D World with my friends. Sadly, only 3 of them arrived, and now we're missing part of the experience because no one's going to fucking show up. Why don't I have an online mode? You come in from work, yeah, I'll play online because I don't feel like fucking walking 20 miles to your goddamn house. like, a good friend of mine lives in London now. So if I want to play games with him, I can only play online. And the amount of games I have that are multiplayer that aren't online, like that he would love, like indie games and stuff that are just on the PlayStation Store or on Steam. And it's like, why not have a co-op mode? I can't comprehend the reason. And like, imagine if Battle Block Theatre didn't have online.
Like, it'd be fucking
awkward, and no one would have probably ever been able to play it with a friend.
Problem.
And also, the whole thing of, we were saying playing Gears of War 4-player, like when Gears of War 4 suddenly dropped 4-player to have 2-player.
Oh, yeah.
Why? If you're having it online, right, I don't want to hear bullshit about frames per second. There's no fucking reason. I don't want to hear bullshit about, oh, well, there's only 2 characters in the story at any time. If you can fucking force Jason to every fucking scene of the fucking game, you can force some next wanker into Gears of War 4. I don't want to hear no bullshit about that. Just fucking crowbar someone into the story. I will happily suffer with some asshole character who would end up on this show. Happily. Just so I can have that in co-op with fucking people, right? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Start getting rid of co-op games. It's unnecessary, and I love them. There's definitely a market for them. I fail to believe that games with co-op modes don't sell well. So for whatever reason, bring them back. Look at all the horde mode games like Killing Floor and hell, Left 4 Dead up to a certain degree. Just games where it's just 4 people just going against hordes. Like they sell fine as long as they've got interesting themes about them and stuff like that. Interesting gameplay. They're great. Sanctum 2. That's brilliant, yeah. Right? I love Sanctum 2.
Oh god, yeah.
The Serious Sam games. All these fucking really cool. Civilization. Hell,
yeah.
More co-op RTS games, please.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that I get to say this when Dawn of War 3 is coming out.
Oh god, yeah. I need it in my life.
Worms. Do you know what they should add for Worms? Is a fucking proper co-op mode where it's teams versus teams that doesn't feel like I'm making a Halo custom game to create, right? Viscera, right? Viscera is a great example of a goofy game that is far enhanced by friends. So,
because if you're playing Viscera on your own, you're just one guy cleaning up.
Yeah, but if you're playing Viscera by your own, you're doing housework, and that's sad.
Essentially true, yeah.
So, bottom line, make more fucking car games.
Yeah, I mean, also,
Assholes.
just also look at like The Division and Wildlands and GTA. Like the amount of fan bases that are surrounding these 3 games. There's a 100% market for them because people are playing co-op games now with especially those 3 co-op games all the time. That's just because they're the only fucking co-op games that exist.
Like
that
GTA's never stop being entertaining.
That has a significant fan base anyway. But yeah, like, the amount of people still playing GTA 5 online, ridiculous. People who used to play Wildlands have probably gone over to people who used to play The Division have probably gone over to Wildlands. There's probably still people playing The Division. I mean, the amount of people who were even playing The Division when it first came out was fucking ridiculous. And now Wildlands is the exact same. So there's definitely a market for sole 100% co-op based games. I know GTA 5's got a story mode, go fuck yourself, but nobody even thinks about the story no more because it's all about the online play.
Yeah, GTA Online is just fantastic. There's no way around it.
GTA 5 might as well be a multiplayer only game. Like, imagine if Call of Duty actually made a zombies only horde mode game, which is something because that's pretty much what people play it for now, besides the online.
Hell, Sniper Elite did it with the zombie fucking army trilogy, right? And
yeah,
that
exactly.
does fucking great. People love that game, right?
It's not even necessarily horde modes. It's just making dedicated multiplayer games. I mean, think of games that have had really good receptions when it's only story based. BioShock Infinite did pretty well, if not fantastic. I'm pretty sure The Last of Us, when it first came out, when it was just a story mode and the multiplayer got released later, that got fucking fantastic reviews.
No one played The Last of Us for the multiplayer.
Well, exactly. Uncharted 4, same again. It came out with a story and then the multiplayer got released later. It got fantastic because it's just the story mode and people are enjoying this story mode. When you got to focus half your game on half story, or essentially 3/4 story and then or a quarter story and 3/4 multiplayer, fuck the story mode off. If you're basing a game that's going to have stupid amount of updates for your multiplayer game, just make a multiplayer game. Just have a Call of Duty multiplayer game. Same with Battlefield as well. Just make a sole multiplayer game, and if you're going to make a story mode game, make a separate story mode game, and then you can focus more time on that. Don't split your game in half.
You know what every game, I think, that wants a co-op mode should do is what Splinter Cell Conviction did. And have a whole...
Incorporate it.
Yeah. A whole separate story that links into the main story that is completely a side thing that works completely on its own.
Yep. Have your main single player story mode, but then have your co-op base either running parallel alongside the main story, or have it as a quick sequel to your single player story mode.
Yeah.
Don't make them completely irrelevant, because like I said, then you're wasting your time by splitting your game in half, having half your multiplayer, half your co-op. If you're going to spend so much time on your single player, don't have a multiplayer. Release that separate. If you're going to have so much time on your multiplayer aspects, whether it be online play or horde mode zombies play, just make a zombies or just make a multiplayer game. If not, both. Have Call of Duty Zombies and then have Call of Duty Online Warfare. Boom, I've just made your two fucking next game up. Online Warfare, it's just sole Call of Duty multiplayer game. Have your Call of Duty Zombies. You can make that whatever the fuck you want. If you wanted to incorporate Call of Duty Zombies with World at War Zombies, Black Ops Zombies, Advanced Warfare Zombies, and whatever fucking 14 different types of Advanced Warfare Zombies we have currently, have that into your Zombies game. And then you can go back to fucking Kino de Toten. I think that's the Theatre one in Black Ops.
Kino de Toten?
Whichever the Theatre one was.
I was fucking sick.
That one. Or have the original fucking World at War map. And have all your Zombies stuff as that one Zombies game, and release every new Zombies map as the DLC.
Do you know what? I'm surprised they haven't just, did what they did with fucking Modern Warfare, having that as, a side thing, and just completely have, all of the Zombies maps be a pre-order at this fucking point. That would have done infinitely better than having Modern Warfare. Because I love Modern Warfare 1. I would far more rather play all of the zombie maps in just on a disc.
Just have your disc which is only limiting you to playing zombies. And then every time a new zombies map comes out, release it as DLC for, say, a $5, probably about $5, maybe even a $10. I might even buy, if you release 2 zombies map, I would happily pay a $10 for it, maybe even $10 each. Just have a new zombies map, which I know for a fact, as soon as it comes out, I'm going to be on that shit, teabagging it until it dies. Because I love zombies. Because you're going to be playing it constantly. You're going to be playing that or multiplayer. Most of the time, if you've got a series of 4 people, you're on the zombies map. If you've got more than 4 people, multiplayer. Sorted. You can do so much. But no, it's because of money. And money is the issue. Because they're trying to do this whole pre-order thing. And people are like, yeah, but you want your original Warfare, but you're going to have to pay for this as well, though. And that's the problem. And people can't find the enjoyment in these co-op games anymore because they're splitting so much time. Have a single-player game? Fine. Just have a single-player game. If you can have a multiplayer game, just have a multiplayer game. There's nothing wrong with separating them because some people are going to play the single-player game, some people are going to play the multiplayer game. It is perfectly fine.
I feel like balance is definitely the theme of this episode.
100% balance. People can't find a balance. People can't accept balance. They have to do one extreme or the other or both. And the better option is doing the one of extremes. Either do one or the other. And that's how it works. So I
feel like it's everybody's favourite time of Corey has to remember a shit game time.
Oh, not yet. We still have the character, remember?
Oh, thank God, I'm saved.
Yeah, I'm saving it this time. We have to talk about Shawn from Fallout 4.
Let's unfortunately talk about this fucking waste of space.
Yeah, this waste of data.
Of all the things in Fallout, like everyone makes the joke, everyone's seen the memes. I was too busy helping settlements to bother about my stupid retard child. I was far more interested in, finding Strong and worrying about death claws and all this. I was too busy having fun to worry about my stupid child. And I guess the problem with that is there's no real defense for it. Shawn just sucks as a character. He's just not interesting. Like, I mean, I think it goes without saying we're going to go into spoiler territory, but just in case there's someone who wants to cry about it later. Like, Shawn as a character is not very interesting. After he gets taken away from you, I don't know about you, but I knew full well that he was going to be taken by the Institute.
Yep.
Like, as soon as the Institute's brought up, I was like, okay, he's going to be an adult because I was frozen again.
Yeah,
that was fairly obvious. That wasn't much of a reveal. And, if he's an adult now, I don't know him. And that's the big problem, is you don't know him. You just know he was your child. And being as that he's not my actual blood child, and this is a video game, a Fallout game no less, like, as soon as he starts acting like a dick to you and makes the fairly good point of, like, I don't even know who you are, like, why would you care about this character? He's, like, specifically made a point to not be interesting anymore.
Yeah, he's designed for you not to give a shit about him.
So, I don't know, I'd love to see the sort of telltale stats of how many people killed and how many people saved him. I think that'd be super interesting. But I could not, like, I can't even picture myself going through a gameplay where I'd get to the end and then go, this time I'm going to save him. I still feel like I'd just fucking kill him.
Just gotta kill him.
It's nuke Boston or kill your son. It's like, nuke Boston, kill this person who I've less than no interest in.
Yep.
For this entire game.
Like
the only thing,
your
character just bitches about him constantly. And it's like, I don't care about that. I'll happily throw him in a fucking pool of sharks. I don't give a shit.
That's the problem, is that, like, he has just lived his whole life. And now you've just walked in and said, yeah, I was frozen. I'm your dad. You're older than me.
It'd be like, imagine if in The Last of Us, imagine in The Last of Us, you didn't meet Ellie until the final quarter of the game. You don't give a shit about her. You'd be like, yeah, whatever, fucking annoying ass kid. Like, get out of my face.
It's like, you go through the whole game searching for Ellie, and right at the end, you find Ellie, she's a dick, and then at the ending, you have the choice to either kill her or save her. It's like, well, I have no idea who you are.
All you've done is be a twat.
Yeah, all you've done is to be a prick. Why should I give a shit about you? I'm going to give this person a gun and the bullet to kill you. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same situation with Shawn from Fallout 3. He is purposely designed for you not to give a fuck about him.
It
And
just
so the
makes that
simple
ending
option,
choice all the more baffling, right?
exactly, the simple fact that it gives you that choice of to save or to kill, why would you save it? The only reason I can think of somebody actually saving Shawn is if they've already killed him the first playthrough. That's the only reason. There is no God-given reason why you should you should
You should
save.
shave Shawn.
You should shave Shan. You should. Fuck my life. You should
You should save
save
Shawn.
Shawn. There's no reason why you should. It's like you're just a dick that I've known you for the past 15 minutes playing this game. You're dead to me.
And
You
in
have
that time,
been.
you acted like a Fraggle Rock fucklord.
You're dead to me just like I've been dead to you your entire life. Peace out. There's no reason why you should save him at all. And it's frustrating because the majority of the game, well, I say the majority of the game, by the time you found him, you're probably decked out of awesome shit anyway, and you're always reminded that you have a son. So by the time you've just done all of the fucking side missions during the entire game, got all of the fucking bobbleheads, got all your settlements sorted, you're decked out, you've got unlimited power armor, fucking fusion cells, you've got a fucking ray gun that will last a year and a half, and you're essentially stacked up with awesome shit. You finally decide to do your main mission quests, and you're like, right, I've just done all this, gone through all of these situations, defeated every enemy in the fucking game 4 times over, and now I have to deal with you, my son, who's older than me, who's being a dick, and now I have to save him? No. Go fuck yourself. I'm gonna go back to Boston. Because
I'm gonna go hang out in Swan's Pool. Fuck you, Shawn.
I'm going to go back to Boston, which is going to be saved because you're now dead to me. Bye. And that's it.
Has there ever been a time in a game where a choice has been like it's like in Fable 2, right? It's like you could bring everyone back or save your sister. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'll bring everyone back, seeing as how you've made them missing for a good majority of the game.
Yeah.
And your sister in Fable 2 was fucking far more likable than Shawn, because he made a point to be a dick to you. He was like, I don't know you, I don't give a shit about you, I'll make you a little robot son if you want. So I don't want you fucking robot son, I want you to stop being a prick.
I just want my actual son to stop being an asshole to me.
Exactly. So fuck you. Tell me about my life. You don't know how much milk I like in my cereal.
So, that's our quick brief of Shawn and why he's a prick. Now,
God.
Crackdown 2.
Crackdown 2, right? I'm so glad, right? We actually finally. Fuck Crackdown 2.
Just to let you know, you have a minute and 20 seconds. You have 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
I can fill that, don't you worry. Crackdown 2 was a game I was hugely anticipating. I remember when Crackdown 2 was announced. I remember being super excited because Crackdown 1 was the first Xbox 360 game I played, I believe. After Gears of War, owned. Sorry. The first one I ever saw was Lost Planet. The first one I ever played was Gears of War. The first one I ever owned was Crackdown. I got it for £7.99, if you can believe that.
Jesus.
I absolutely love Crackdown 1. Right? I bought it off the store not too long ago just so I could play it on my Xbox One. That is the only attention my Xbox One fucking gets.
Yeah.
My Xbox One is just fucking shit. But I love Crackdown 1. It let you attack situations how you want. If you wanted to go and kill the big bosses immediately, or you could weaken the troops, you could build your person. The more you drove, the better you were at driving. The more you kicked people in the face, the stronger you were. The agility orbs. Anyone who talks shit about agility orb is a little bitch, because they are fucking cool, and I enjoyed finding all of them. Right? It was a great time. I remember being stuck for like 2 weeks because I had 4 left. And I just could not find them. It was brilliant. It was a really, really solid game. It's a good 8 out of 10 for when it came out. And I don't know, I still feel like it holds up. If anyone wants a recommendation to take away from this, if you've not played Crackdown 1, play Crackdown 1. It is a brilliant game. So when Crackdown 2 was announced, I was like, they're fucking sick. They're gonna make Crackdown 2. It's gonna be the same game, but bigger and more interesting and more exciting. probably in a new city with more enemies. I was half right. Uh, so the
To
big
your
thing about
disappointment.
Crackdown, the big thing about Crackdown is you're part of this thing called the Agency, and they're kind of like they went under and didn't do particularly well for some reason, and you're essentially a clone, like a super police officer for the Agency to bring order back to things. And there was a really cool twist at the end of Crackdown 1. Spoiler alert if you for all of the 2 people who haven't played it by now. As it turns out the Agency were the people who were like funding everyone. They were the people giving all the people the weapons. They were funding all of the shy gen, stuff like that. Yeah, I remember. What? And I loved it. I really do love Crackdown 1. And it turns out the Agency were kind of evil, but they just kind of turned out to be bad guys by the end. And I was like, I wonder where they're going to go with that. I wonder if the Agency are going to sort of roll over and you're going to be an agent quelling a rebellion. Or maybe you're an agent fighting the Agency. That'd be pretty cool. No. Nothing cool at all. Let's add zombies. Sick. Cool. Really, really glad we went that route. So I remember seeing the trailers. Now, at the time, I was actually a huge fan of zombies. Slowly that degraded on me, and now I'd rather fucking kill myself. But it just fucking hurts to my core. I remember seeing the trailer and being like, oh, we went from all these cool ideas I had to just there's infected roaming the streets in hordes. I was like, it could still be cool. I love Crackdown. They'll probably do something interesting with it. Nope. They're just big, stupid enemies that run at you and whap you, and they come in absolute tons of hordes that are super not fun to fight because you never have any ammo. I have distinct memories of just being fucking miserable playing Crackdown 2. And the story was limp and weak. I can barely even remember it. Like, they didn't have the cool factions that you could, take in any order to, it was just more about fighting this stupid infection. There was still, like factions and enemies, but it didn't have the same, like, it didn't feel as important. It didn't feel like, oh, I took down that guy. If I go and fight the big bad now, he's going to have less men with less, like, good gear, or he's going to have less cars, or, I don't know, he'll be hiding in a different area of the fucking fortress he's in.
Yeah.
It just felt like, take out these, then go for the guy, and he'll have slightly less health. And it's like, cool, right? I'm really glad I fucking wasted my time doing all this fucking bullshit. I remember a fucking huge difficulty spike of going from like one segment to the other of the islands, and a whole bunch of weird Easter eggs. Like Crackdown 1 had a few fun Easter eggs, and they just went overboard with Crackdown 2. It was like Saints Row 2. There was just far too fucking many, and it got monotonous, and they stopped being cool. It was just a bad. I just remember fucking hating it. I'm sure, if I went back, I'm pretty sure I would probably still dislike it. I remember being really fucking vivid in how annoyed I was. Only, like, they had the new orbs, which were cool. Like, I remember now there were orbs that you'd have to sort of chase down. That was a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Leveling up took like 400 times longer and was no longer fun. Like, I remember the amount of fucking people I had to kick to death in Crackdown. In Crackdown 2. Like, Jesus Christ. By the end of it, I was wishing I was the one being fucking kicked to death. It just went on and on and on. Like, I never got the cars to be fully upgraded because, Jesus Christ, I would literally rather fucking jump off a building. It was miserable. And do you know what? I'm excited for Crackdown 3. I really am. Crackdown 3 has really good opportunity for me to get back into Crackdown 6. It might actually mean I'll plug my Xbox One in again. And
maybe.
For that to happen would just be spectacular. Like, that would be incredible because I haven't used that thing in like 2 years. So it's just such a waste of opportunity is the main crippling thing from Crackdown 2. It didn't have the same humor and fun. Instead, it went for being weirdly dark but not fully, to having all of the humor being Easter eggs. And do you know, there's another thing is, I remember in Crackdown 1, you've got the cool announcer guy, right? That's the famous thing I think from Crackdown that everyone sort of remembers.
Yep.
The guy's like, "Oh, good luck, agent." You set on fire. He's like, "Burn, baby, burn." It's like, "Don't be a dickhead." Egoraptor did a fucking thing about it, right?
Yeah, he did.
That's how cool that voice was. That was a whole Egoraptor joke. So I don't remember anything about him. I know he's definitely in Crackdown 2, but I don't remember it being memorable in any way. That's the biggest, I think, flaw. It's just fucking forgettable. I had to spend this whole fucking rant cast trying to remember the goddamn game. And that's tragic, because it was a game I was excited for. It was a game I was really excited for. And, it taught me many a different thing, like don't pre-order games, because all it does is upset you. Don't fucking be excited for anything ever. Basically, it taught me to be miserable. The whole reason that this rantcast exists is because Crackdown 2 taught me to hate. So, fuck Crackdown 2.
Dude, you just went
I hate it.
You just went off for about 7 minutes straight.
Yeah. Fuck Crackdown 2. It was a miserable time, and I want it. I want my money and my time back.
Well then,
I'm really excited for Crackdown 3.
yeah.
I really am. I'm so glad that I have someone to blame it on now if it's bad. So,
Shout out to Rian.
yeah, shout out to Rian. Big hopes for Crackdown 3. I hope that they completely ditch the zombies, or at least make them interesting. Bring back the harpoon gun, because it was the fucking coolest shit in the world. Just play Crackdown 1 again and realize
make Crackdown
the
great again.
brilliance of that game. Yes, make Crackdown perfect again. I want to be happy. I don't want to be sad. Crackdown 2 makes me sad. Club Penguin is Save Children, and Crackdown 2 makes me sad. That's what I want to be known for saying.
Oh, I still remember that tweet.
That's my quote of the week. Crackdown 2 makes people sad.
Sad. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you've had a fun time listening to our rant. Next 4 subjects we will talk about, obviously, between here and then. I don't really feel like I don't really know if we have a subject we can say we might talk about next episode.
Well, you've got plenty to look forward to, as I've said, but whether or not
Yeah.
we use them for the next episode's another matter. I think we'll let it be a surprise.
Yeah, I think we should let it be a surprise. I had a kind of a bit of an idea to kind of release one subject for next week, but then I realised we could probably talk about that better next time. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, hope you enjoyed listening to our rants. My name is Michael, aka DJ Soul. My homie in crime is Corey, aka Trust Me I'm a Bear, or at the Condescending Bear. Was that the right one? No, he's at Trust Me I'm a Bear.
Completely the other way around.
It's at Trust Me I'm a Bear, the Condescending Bear.
No one's gonna watch all the way to the end after I started talking about Crackdown 2.
No. I should probably do it at the beginning of the episode. Anyway, I'm going to end the episode. Peace out.
Bye.